Now let's talk about how we can integrate Salesforce with third party with no code at all. To do that, we'll make use of workflow outbound message. Now the way it works is that as an administrator, you're going to define an outbound message. That outbound message can be used in workflows approval process. That outbound message will be sent to a web service endpoint, and this endpoint is something which is coded by the third party developer or IT team, not by a Salesforce administration. In return, an acknowledgement would be sent to Salesforce. Now, there are various pros and cons. The number one pros is it is point and click code. No Apex code is needed. Second is that there is a guarantee that message will be delivered in 24-hour window. So it will keep on retrying to send the message out. Salesforce will keep on retrying. The con is that the whistle which is generated by Salesforce, the third party system has to accept that whistle and make changes in their system. In our scenario today, we are going to create a workflow rule which will send out few of the fields from a contact whenever an email address is changed. And let's take for example, we are going to send the name, ID, and email from a contact record whenever email ID is changed to an external system. And that external system we are going to simulate by using this particular URL, which is a integration playground. So now let's go to Salesforce. Let's create a rule. We're going to create a workflow rule on contact. Let's name it as email change. Created every time it is edited. And we'll say anytime an email field on a contact is changed, that time this rule needs to trigger. So we'll make use of function is change. And over here we'll mention the field email. Save and next. Now we want to add an action that would be an outbound message. Let's add an outbound message, email change. Now this endpoint URL where this message needs to go, that is something we are just going to copy paste from our playground. And we are going to pass on values like email. We're going to pass on value like first name, and let's take for example last name. Save. We say done. Let's activate and let's relook over here. So just to reiterate, we have created a workflow rule which is going to fire anytime an email ID is changed on a contact record, and it is going to send out three fields, email, first name, and ID, to this particular endpoint URL. Now let's test it out. We'll go to a particular contact, change its email ID, let's save it, and let's monitor over here. Let's wait for a few seconds. So now I have got a response. So if I look over here, email has been passed, first name, last name, and the Salesforce ID. Okay. So we have successfully transferred the data using the workflow rule outbound message. To reiterate, we created a workflow rule Then we made use of an outbound message, which is a SOAP message. That SOAP message is sent to a particular predefined web services. In real world scenario, instead of using an endpoint like this, you are going to download this WSDL and provide it to the third party IT team, and they are going to create a listener based on this particular WSDL. Thank you.